Though we had the words of Bodhisattva Vasubandhu, if Master Tan Luan had not clarified them, how could we come to know the mind and practice of vast, majestic virtues, which are other power? Knowing truly that the primal vow, the perfect one vehicle that brings about sudden attainment, grasps those who commit grave offenses and transgressions, we are quickly brought to realize that blind passions and enlightenment are not two in substance. Of the 5 inconceivabilities taught in the sutras, the inconceivability of the power of the Buddha Dharma is supreme. The inconceivability of the power of the Buddha Dharma refers to Amida's universal vow. Amida has fulfilled the directing of virtue, which has 2 aspects, that for our going forth and that for our return. Through these aspects of the Buddha's directing of virtue, we are brought to realize both mind and practice. The directing of virtue for our going forth is such that when Amida's active means toward us reaches fulfillment, we realize the Shinjin and practice of the compassionate vow, then birth and death is itself nirvana. The directing of virtue for our return to this world is such that we attain the resultant state of benefiting and guiding others. Immediately re-entering the world of beings, we engage in the compassionate activity that is the virtue of Samantabhadra. Vasubandhu speaks, in his treatise, of the mind that is single. Master Tan Luan, in his commentary, explains that this is Shinjin, itself other power, that we who are possessed of blind passions attain. The unhindered light filling the 10 quarters shines on the beings in the darkness of ignorance and unfailingly brings to attainment of nirvana the person who realizes the one thought moment of joy. Through the benefit of the unhindered light, we realize Shinjin of vast, majestic virtues, and the ice of our blind passions necessarily melts, immediately becoming water of enlightenment. Obstructions of karmic evil turn into virtues. It is like the relation of ice and water. The more the ice, the more the water, the more the obstructions, the more the virtues. The ocean of the inconceivable name does not hold unchanged the corpses of the 5 grave offenses and slander of the Dharma. The myriad rivers of evil acts, on entering it, become one in taste with the ocean water of virtues. Rivers of blind passions, on entering the ocean, the great, compassionate vow of unhindered light filling the 10 quarters, become one in taste with that sea of wisdom. Being born in the Buddha land of happiness is the path to ultimate attainment of Buddhahood. All the Buddhas acclaim the pure land, for birth there is the unsurpassed means. Tan Luan teaches that the Buddhas adorn their 3 modes of action, so that they are characterized by ultimate non-discrimination. This is to heal the bodily, verbal, and mental acts of beings, which are false and delusional. Tan Luan teaches that we reach the Buddha land of happiness solely with the name, the unsurpassed gem. And true Shinjin, for those born there, follow no other way. Unsurpassed gem, also called Mani gem, the wish-fulfilling jewel. If this jewel is placed in muddy water, not only will the water become clear, but there will be no discoloration. If crystal is put in muddy water, there will be discoloration. Thus, the myriad practices and good acts are likened to crystal, the name to the jewel. Although initially there are 9 grades of beings, because the birth attained through Amida's pure primal vow is birth that is no birth. The Pure Land is free of such discrimination. Birth that is no birth, mean, birth that is apart from birth in the 6 courses. Persons of true and real Shinjin are not born in the 6 courses or 4 forms of birth, hence, no birth. 9 grades of beings. Although originally there are 9 grades of sentient beings, once they have been born in the fulfilled land, not a single one is differentiated. The name of the Tathagata of unhindered light. And the light that is the embodiment of wisdom. Dispel the darkness of the long night of ignorance. And fulfill the aspirations of sentient beings. Master Tan Luan explains that failing to practice in accord with reality means first, that Shinjin is not genuine in that person. For it appears to exist at times, and not to exist at others. Failing to practice in accord with reality, mean, not in accord with the teaching. Appears to exist, and not to exist, mean, at times one is convinced that one will attain birth, and at other times one feels that one will not. Second, Shinjin is not single, for it lacks decisiveness, and third, Shinjin is not enduring, for it is disrupted by other thoughts. The practicer should remember that these 3 aspects of untrue Shinjin are established with one leading to another, because one's Shinjin is not genuine. It is not Shinjin that is decisive. Because it is not Shinjin that is decisive, mindfulness does not endure. Because mindfulness does not endure, one does not realize Shinjin that is decisive. Because one does not realize Shinjin that is decisive, it is not genuine. Thus Tan Luan teaches, whether practice is fully in accord with reality is determined solely by Shinjin. Having turned from the little road of a myriad practices and good acts and entered the great path of the Primal Vow, which is true reality, we will quickly attain the enlightenment of Nirvana. King Shao, the Emperor of Liang, always faced in the direction of our teacher and paid homage to him, calling him Bodhisattva Luan. May ordinary foolish persons like ourselves take heed of the exhortations from Master Tan Luan and take the Pure Land path and be freed from this crazy cycle of birth and death. Thus, entrusting ourselves wholeheartedly to the Amida Buddha's vow power, we have definitely heard the call of boundless compassion.